Hi, welcome back. Waxing on Wednesday, classic rock. We're going to kind of continue an episode which I call What's on My iPod, where we're following up like we did on Monday when we looked at REM. I've got another musician that over the years I'd listened to. I never had enough money to go out and buy an album, but I was well aware of their material. And this was in the 1970s. I was listening to Cat Stevens. My cousin actually had a 8-track of, I believe it was Teaser and the Firecat, and we used to listen to that a lot. But I never really bought anything of my own until digital came along, iTunes. So I went through and, like I did with REM, I created my own Cat Stevens Greatest Hits album. The album doesn't include probably a lot of tunes you might like. It was the ones that I found resonated most with me. And I picked from a couple of albums, and again, this is from the 70s era. And we'll just go over a few of them, what I have in here. Now, Cat Stevens was active probably into the 1980s, and then he kind of disappeared from the music scene. You can go online, check it out, Wikipedia. He kind of got out of music, got involved in other things, converted to a certain religion, and we never heard much from him again. But we don't want to concentrate on those kind of stories. This show's about the music, and we're going to talk about the music that was alive and vibrant and exciting in the 1970s. And I had three albums of his that I particularly took cuts off of for this. First one was Tea for the Tillerman. Again, two of these, this one and the next one, were probably the albums that if anybody owned Cat Stevens albums, it were these. This one I grabbed the song Wild World. Teaser and the Firecat was the other big one. And this one had a lot of hits on it. And again, we have sometimes albums that really stick out. I mentioned to you on one of our other shows there that, during this period, if you went to somebody's house and they had any album by Jackson Browne, it was going to be running on empty. Everybody, Bat Out of Hell. Those showed up in everybody's house. This one, Teaser and the Firecat, if you had Cat Stevens, that was probably going to be the one that was sitting on the turntable. So the albums were immensely popular. Now, a couple of tunes I picked off of this. One was called The Wind. The other was Changes 4. And then there were three that were very, very big hits for him. The one that I think probably most people recognize, Morning is Broken, was a big hit, a lot of airplay. We had one called Moon Shadow. And if you're familiar with the song at all, you know the words are a little odd. And again, growing up with it, we heard it on the radio, we sang along with it, we never thought much about it. I was playing Jackpot in the car not too long ago, and my daughter was in the car, and when she's heard these words, she's saying, "What kind of song is that?" And if you think about it, and think about the words in it, yeah, it's a very unusual lyric to that tune. It's a catchy song, but yeah, the lyrics were a little odd. And what I think is one of Cat Stevens' biggest hits, and the one that if I could only have one Cat Stevens song, this would be it, would be Peace Train. Just a classic song and a great rendition. And not a lot of people have covered it, but it stands out as one of the great songs of the 70s. My last choice, I went back, like I often say, go what greatest hits. I got the very best of Cat Stevens to pick up a couple more tunes. And one was Oh Very Young, and the other one was First Cut is the Deepest. And this song had also been covered by a couple of other artists. I can think offhand, Rod Stewart, Sheryl Crow. It was, again, a very popular song. And I think the songs in these three albums kind of capture the essence of what Cat Stevens was all about in the 70s. Now, I understand he's back into music a bit now. I've never checked out the newer material. I'm not sure how it matches up to what I remember from the 70s era, because maybe you can't go back again. I don't know. Maybe it is really good. But I'm saying, if I got to listen to Cat Stevens, boy, these albums really would be my first choice. Now, beauty is, you got the streaming networks. A lot of these albums have been remastered with extra songs added. They're available on most of the streaming networks, YouTube, a lot of places you can find it. You can still buy hard copies. But if you've never heard Cat Stevens, check it out. Some of these tunes, they probably sound familiar to you. I mean, if you're of an age, you're certainly going to know Peace Train, you're going to know Moonshadow, you're going to know Morning is Broken, you might know Oh Very Young, First Cut is the Deepest. These are all very popular tunes from that era. So take a minute and check them out. Again, a great artist, great writer, great vocalist, great performer. It's a real piece of the 70s and a real piece of music history. So that's it for today. A look at music of Cat Stevens. We'll see you on Friday. Until then, everybody take care. Stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.